The most dangerous thing a woman can do is forget who she is to make the world comfortable. Let that settle in for a moment, my friends, because we live in a world that keeps whispering the same tired lie, that your power is in your youth, your shape, your skin, your silence, that to be desired, you have to be smaller, softer, easier to swallow. But let me tell you something different, something real. True attraction doesn't live in the mirror. It lives in your energy. And some women, they walk into a room and don't have to say a single word, yet everything shifts, the air, the posture, even the noise. They don't arrive looking for permission. They are the permission. Before we go any deeper, take a second, hit that like button and subscribe, because what we're about to unpack, it's not fluff, it's not tricks. This is soul work, and trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming. Hey ladies, imagine this with me. You're at a dinner party. Everyone's chatting, clinking glasses, scrolling through their phones between bites. And then she walks in, not the loudest, not the youngest, but the room seems to lean toward her without even meaning to. Why? Not because she's trying, because she's rooted. She's not worried about being noticed. She's already anchored in herself. Her piece is louder than the volume. It's like watching a candle in a blackout. You can't not look, and it's not the flame that impresses you. It's the fact that in all that darkness, she's still glowing. Now here's the truth. That woman, she didn't wake up like that. She became that through choices, through habits, through shedding every version of herself that was built just to please someone else. And listen, I'm not here to hand you a script to pretend with. This isn't about becoming a character men fall for. This is about becoming so deeply you that the right people can't help but be pulled in. It's not about playing hard to get. It's about becoming hard to forget. Some women are chasing love like it's running away, but the ones who understand what I'm about to share, they don't chase, they attract, not through strategy, but through alignment, through showing up whole. This isn't about pretending you don't care. It's about actually caring more about your own peace than someone else's opinion. And don't worry, we're going to keep it real. I'll tell you the habits that unlock this kind of magnetism step by step, with a little fire, a little fun, and a whole lot of truth. Some of it might sting, some of it might free you, but by the end of this, you won't need to ask, am I enough? You'll know, because your presence won't ask for attention. It'll command it. So press that like button, subscribe for more soul-deep conversations, and most of all, stay with me. We're about to step into something powerful. And once you feel it, you'll never settle for surface again. Number one, confidence that speaks before words do. She wasn't the loudest in the room, but somehow she was the one everyone listened to. Let's talk about real presence, my friends, not the kind that shouts, but the kind that shifts gravity, because there's a moment, just a second, right before you say a word, right before you smile, before you adjust your hair or sip your drink. It's the moment you enter a space. And that moment, and that's where everything starts. Imagine a lioness stepping into the open field. She doesn't roar to be respected. She doesn't have to pace or perform. She just arrives, and every creature senses the shift in the air. That's what real confidence feels like. It announces you without making a sound. But here's what the world has told you instead. Speak louder, look hotter, try harder. So now you're wondering, won't I seem arrogant? What if I don't feel that confident yet? So what if I'm faking it? Let me tell you something real, and I need you to hear this in your chest. Confidence isn't a feeling, it's a frequency. It's not about having all the answers. It's about showing up like you belong in the room, even if your knees are shaking under that dress. You don't need to be the loudest voice. You just need to be the most grounded energy. Think about a mountain. It doesn't move, it doesn't shout, and yet everyone feels it. That's the kind of presence we're talking about, a still, unshakable presence, the kind that whispers, I've done the work, I know who I am. And if you're still building that muscle, don't worry, you're not behind, you're becoming. Start with your body, stand tall even when you want to shrink. Walk like the ground is yours, even if it's your first step, because confidence is contagious. It starts small, a look, a pause, a breath. And here's a little truth bomb most people won't tell you. You don't have to feel confident to be confident. You just have to choose it. And as Carl Jung once said, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly truly are. Why? And that process, it begins the moment you stop waiting for permission to shine. So the next time you walk into a room, don't scan the space to see who's watching. Be the one who's worth watching. And stay with me, because next we're stepping into the kind of mystery that doesn't chase attention, but makes attention lean in. Number 2, presence that allows space to be missed. A woman who knows her worth doesn't chase, she chooses. Let's break another lie wide open, my friends. Because somewhere along the way, someone told you that love meant constantly being available, that if you didn't reply fast, show up first, stay accessible, you'd lose him. But let me ask you something. If you're always there, always reachable, always explaining and updating and proving, when does he get the chance to miss you? Imagine this. A song you love comes on the radio every hour. At first it lights you up. You sing along, volume up, windows down. But by the 4th time, it fades into background noise. Not because it stopped being good, but because it stopped being rare. Now picture that same song, but it only plays once every few days at just the right moment. The second it hits, you stop everything. You feel it again, and that's the difference between being available and being valued. And I know what you might be thinking, but won't he forget me if I pull back? What if I seem uninterested? What if he moves on? But hear me out. Presence isn't about disappearing. It's about owning your space so deeply that when you do show up, it means something. Some women fill the silence with noise. The powerful ones, they let silence do the speaking. A mature woman doesn't respond to every message right away, not out of ego, but because she's living. She's not crafting text replies while chasing validation. She's pouring into herself, into her world. And that space, that absence, it leaves an imprint. Distance isn't coldness, it's confidence. And it's letting someone wonder what you're thinking, what you're creating, what you're smiling about. It's the art of not needing to be seen to feel seen. Because desire needs room to grow. Attention can't stretch its wings in a crowded, clingy cage. As Denzel once said, some people will never value your presence until they feel your absence. So take a breath, step back without fear, let mystery re-enter the room, and stay with me, because next we're talking about the silent language your clothes speak long before you say a word. Number 3, style that carries the signature of soul. She didn't wear it to impress. She wore it because it felt like her skin. Let's get one thing straight, my friends. This isn't about fashion. This is about frequency. Because when a woman dresses in alignment with who she is, not who she's told to be, the world feels it. She's not wearing trends. She's wearing truth. And truth that never goes out of style. And it's the way she walks in with a color no one else thought to wear because it matches her mood, not the magazines. It's the bracelet she's worn since college because it reminds her of who she had to fight to become. And it's the scent that makes someone stop mid-sentence after she's gone, wondering why the air still remembers her. This isn't costume, it's code. Think of it like this. Every woman has an energy signature, and your style, it's the handwriting of that energy. Are you writing in bold, in cursive, in quiet italics with powerful subtext? Now, I know what might come up in your mind, Kato. What if I don't know what my style even is? What if I'm not trendy enough? What if I get it wrong? But here's the thing, you can't get it wrong if it's real. Forget the rules, forget the latest capsule wardrobe, forget what social media said you should wear at your age, your size, your vibe. Instead, ask yourself, what makes me feel like home in my own body? What feels like armor and invitation at the same time? Because when a woman feels good in her clothes, when her outside matches the frequency of her inside, people don't just notice, and they remember. As Coco Chanel once said, dress shabbily, and they remember the dress. Dress impeccably, and they remember the woman. But when you dress authentically, they remember the essence. So go ahead, wear the jacket that makes your spine straighter, rock the earrings that make you smirk, spray the perfume that says, I know who I am, because style, when done from soul, doesn't ask for attention, and it commands it. And stay with me, because next we're unlocking a kind of feminine power that doesn't chase, it invites, it inspires, and it magnetizes without lifting a finger. Number 4, feminine energy that holds without chasing. She wasn't trying to win him, she was too busy being the prize. Let's talk about something the world keeps misunderstanding, my friends. Feminine energy isn't weak, it's not passive, it's not the backup role to masculinity, it's power, the kind that doesn't have to push to move mountains. Picture a river, it doesn't chase the rocks in its way, it flows around them with grace, and it doesn't ask permission to keep moving. And yet over time, that water carves through stone, not with force, but with consistency, depth, and flow, and that's the feminine. Now, somewhere out there, someone told you to lead every conversation, make the first move, be in control, or risk losing the game. But the truth is, you're not here to play a game. You're here to hold a presence that turns heads without trying. And I know what might rise up, like, what if he forgets about me if I don't chase? Won't he move on to someone else who's more assertive? Isn't waiting too risky? Listen close, you're not waiting, you're rooted. And there's a difference between being passive and being magnetic. You're not twiddling your thumbs hoping someone shows up. You're living, expanding, glowing in your own space. And when a man who's ready enters your orbit, he won't feel pressure, he'll feel invited. This kind of feminine energy is calm, not chaotic. It allows space for pursuit. It makes room for mystery. It doesn't fill every silence or narrate every moment. It leans back with an open heart and steady eyes and says, if you want to know me, come closer. I'm not running. As Denzel once said, ease is a greater threat to progress than hardship. Well, in love, ease is the magnet. It draws in real connection, not performance. So let the world perform, let others race for attention. You sit in your grace, you speak when it matters. You receive not because you're doing less, but because your presence already did enough. And stay with me, because next we're diving into a skill most overlooked, but when mastered, it doesn't just create attraction, it creates emotional gravity. Number 5, conversation that cuts through the noise. She didn't talk the most, but when she did, the room leaned in. Let's be honest, my friends, words are cheap these days. Everyone's talking loud, fast, constantly. But the real ones, the unforgettable ones, they don't speak to impress, they speak to connect. And connection, that's a different language altogether. It's not in the over-explaining, the over-sharing, the nervous filling of silence. It's in the pause. The way your words sit in the air like a note held just a second longer than expected. Think of a candlelit room, everything quiet. One voice speaking slowly, like each word actually matters. That's you. Not racing, not competing, and just letting your words carry weight because they come from stillness, not from fear. And yeah, I know what you might be thinking, but what if I go quiet and he thinks I'm boring? What if I don't know what to say? Don't I have to keep it going? Here's the truth. Depth doesn't shout. It doesn't rush. You don't need 1,000 words to make a moment stick. You need presence. Ask the kind of questions that make people stop and think. What's something you've never told anyone but think about all the time? When did you feel most alive? Not because you're prying, but because you're inviting something real. And don't be afraid to hold back sometimes. Not everything needs to be revealed. Some things deserve to stay a mystery until the moment they're earned. Let silence be part of the conversation. Look him in the eye and smile, then let the moment breathe. It's in that quiet tension the connection gets forged, not with noise, but with presence. As Maya Angelou said, people will forget what you said, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. So make them feel something, not with volume, but with vibe, not with chatter, but with clarity, not with constant access, but with rare insight. Say less, mean more, and stay with me, because up next, we're talking about the one quality that makes a woman unforgettable, not because she needs anyone, but because she already belongs to herself. Number 6, independence that feeds the flame, not the fear. She didn't ask for a seat at the table. She was busy building her own. Let's talk about something the world keeps trying to dim down in women, my friends. Independence. Somewhere along the line, you were told to tone it down, to coke, to not be too ambitious, too passionate, too bold, because if you shine too bright, you'll scare him away. But here's the truth. The right man isn't afraid of your fire. He's drawn to it. There's a big difference between a woman who's waiting for someone to give her a life and a woman who's already living one. She wakes up with a plan, not because she's proving something, but because her life has meaning. She's not lonely. She's full. She's not desperate. She's focused. She's not waiting to be chosen. She's already chosen herself. Now let's pause here because I know what might be creeping in. What if my strength makes me unapproachable? What if being independent means I'll end up alone? Oh, what if no one can handle me? Let me flip that for you. The right man, he doesn't want to be your oxygen, and he wants to breathe with you, not for you. He doesn't want to save you. He wants to build with you. When a woman has a full life, hobbies, passions, friends, goals, she becomes magnetic. Not because she's unavailable, but because she's fulfilled. Think of a garden, the kind that blooms on its own, watered by your own hands. When someone walks into that garden, they don't see emptiness. They see abundance. And that's what your independence is. It's your rhythm, your edge. And it says, I'm not here because I need saving. I'm here because I'm choosing to share this view. As Denzel once said, do what you have to do so you can do what you want to do. Like, you've done the work. You've built the peace. Now love becomes a choice, not a lifeline. So keep creating, keep moving, keep becoming, and stay with me because next we're unlocking the rarest kind of power, the stillness that holds everything steady when the world starts to spin. Number 7, stillness that anchors the storm. She didn't silence the storm, she just became the eye of it. Let's go deep on this one, my friends, because in a world that's addicted to noise, reaction, and chaos, your calm becomes your crown. Stillness isn't just a vibe, it's a language. And the women who master it, they don't just enter rooms, they ground them. Picture this, the party's buzzing, someone's ranting, the room's full of laughs, opinions, energy bouncing off the walls, and then she walks in. Not flashy, not loud, just steady. And suddenly the energy tilts. People look, not because she's demanding attention, but because her stillness commands it. That kind of peace, it can't be faked. It doesn't come from pretending nothing bothers you. It comes from knowing that you are bigger than the moment, and maybe you're wondering, why won't I seem distant? What if he misreads my calm for disinterest? Like, shouldn't I show more emotion to prove I care? But here's the truth. Stillness doesn't mean you're not feeling. It means your feelings aren't running the show. And it's the soft I'm here when someone's unraveling. It's the pause before you react. It's the warm silence that says, I'm listening, not rushing. He'll feel it when he sits beside you in traffic and you don't fill the silence just to avoid discomfort. He'll hear it in your voice when things don't go as planned and you simply say, we'll figure it out. He'll remember it when he's looking for a lighthouse in the storm and you're already glowing. Stillness doesn't chase. Stillness doesn't explain. Stillness lets presence do the talking. As Lao Tzu said, silence is a source of great strength. And that strength, it makes you unforgettable, not for what you said, but for how you made them feel safe in your presence. So next time things feel loud, fast, or messy, don't match it. Anchor it, ground it. Because the woman who stays calm when everything else shakes, she's the one they trust. Then stay with me, because coming up next is the final key. The one phrase that every man may not admit he needs to hear, but once he does, everything changes. Number 8, faith in who he's becoming. He wasn't perfect, but she spoke to the part of him that could be. All right, my friends, this is the moment where everything shifts. Because up until now, we've talked about presence, confidence, independence. But now we're stepping into something sacred. Belief, not belief in a fairy tale, and not belief in potential that never shows up, but the kind of grounded, soul-deep faith that looks a man in the eye and says, I see where you're going, even if you're not there yet. That hits different. Imagine a man walking through life doing his best, carrying pressure he doesn't talk about, chasing a dream no one's clapping for yet. Maybe he's made mistakes. Maybe he's lost momentum. Maybe he's doubting himself more than he'll ever admit. out loud. And then one day he hears it. I believe in the man you're becoming. Not I'll love you if not I'm waiting for you to change, but pure, powerful vision spoken from a woman who doesn't need to fix him. So just sees him, that kind of belief. It's a mirror, a fire, a reason to rise. Because men don't always become what the world expects of them, but they often become what someone close to them believes is possible. And I know what you might be thinking, like, what if he never becomes that man? Am I giving him a pass? What if I'm wrong? But here's the key. This belief isn't blind, it's brave. You're not handing over your worth. You're not building a fantasy. You're calling out the truth you see beneath the layers. You're speaking to his character, not just his current situation, to his effort, not just his results, and to his becoming, not just his being. As Denzel once said, true desire in the heart, that itch you have to be great, is God's proof to you sent beforehand to indicate that it's yours. So when a man is trying, stumbling, evolving, and you say that phrase, it doesn't coddle him, it crowns him. He starts showing up, not because he's afraid to lose you, but because someone finally reminded him who he could be. So speak it gently, honestly, at the right moment. I believe in the man you're becoming. And watch what happens, not just in him, but in the kind of love that rises with him. If you've made it this far, my friend, hit that like button, subscribe, and share this with someone who's done performing and ready to love with presence and power. Remember, the love you're looking for, and it's not found in trying harder to be chosen. It's found in showing up so fully that alignment does the choosing for you. Stay grounded, stay glowing. Hit the like button under this video and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.